Hey there, I'm Castro, and welcome to my first long devlog for my dream game, MENT. Yep, I'm diving into a classy, post-apocalyptic journey set in a world overtaken by highly intelligent, overpowering bacteria. As deadly disease sweep across the land and resources dwindle, the government has abandoned most of the cities, leaving people to survive in a bleak reality filled with fear and hopelessness. In this game, I'm exploring what it means to exist in a world where survival is the only goal, but even that feels meaningless. We'll dive deep into the themes of old sickness, historical punishment, and the oddities of human body as we navigate a landscape shaped by despair and fear. So, where did it all start? Let me tell you. So, who am I? I'm Castro, but let's rewind a bit. I hopped on the Gamdev train at like age 10, little genius me, right? My first creations were these adorable little platformers and goofy top-down game. I had my own little universe where I could create anything, and let me tell you, it was magical. I was the kid who spent countless hours tinkling with game engines, learning ropes, and dreaming big. Fast forward a few years, and I decided it was time to get serious. That's when I embarked on my first major project, Jim's Nightmare. The psychological horror game followed a mentally ill gangster grappling with his own sanity while facing the streets to his family. It was a dark dive into human psyche, and I poured my heart and soul into it. Working on Jim's Nightmare opened the doors I've never expected. I met a ton of amazing people in the game community, and before I knew it, I was running my own studio, Pumpkin Games. Yep, that's a thing. But as much as I loved collaborating, I started to crave the solo dev experience again. There's something special about being in control of every little detail, every design choice, so I dusted off my keyboard, fired up Unity, and said, alright, let's create something even better this time. And that's how MENT was born. It's my opportunity to take everything I've learned and channel it into a project that's just not a game, but a reflection of my own growth as a developer and a storyteller. This time, I want to push my boundaries and explore the themes that resonate deeply, making the player feel something real in a world that's anything but real. Okay, so MENT. What's the vibe? The concept bloomed from a blend of classic post-apocalyptic themes infused with an airy sense of hopelessness. I wanted to create a world where survival isn't just a goal, it's a grim reality that everybody faces daily. It's classy, yet haunting, and it digs deep into the fear of unknown that haunts us all. Picture this, a few decades back in a society reminiscent of historical England, where life still has that old world charm, but it's been turned upside down by an unknown disease. The aesthetic is grimy and atmospheric, with people walking around in long coats, dirty streets, and dark and heavy atmosphere. But with way more deadly bacteria. Sure, it gives off classic zombie vibes, but here's my twist. Not everybody is an overpowered superhero. You know how most zombie stuff has that one random kid slicing and dicing through zombies like it's a TikTok challenge? Yeah, I'm not doing that. In most narratives, we see brave characters wielding swords and slaying enemies without a second thought. But what if the truth is far more complex? What if, in a world overrun by fear and disease, most people simply feel lost, unable to muster the courage to fight back? This is the essence of MENT, a journey through the minds of those who have been pushed to their limits, grappling with their own fragility. In a nutshell, MENT is a reflection of what it means to be a human in a broken world, and how we confront our deepest fears when faced with unknown. It's a classy take on the apocalypse, steps in atmosphere and emotion, inviting the players to explore a reality that's as unsettling as it can be. Once I had the overall idea, I needed gameplay and art style to make it a game, not just a side novel. I got major inspo from Holstein, a Polish game with its 3D isometric pixelated style. Love the mix of 3D and 2D vibes, like Little Company, so I decided to see if I could make that magic happen again. For gameplay, I'm going with a point-and-click setup, but it's just not the usual stuff. Sure, we've got keys, puzzles, and exploring the world, but survival is a huge focus. You will be managing health, stamina, and hunger, because it's an apocalypse. Even the non-infected are dangerous. In a place where everybody is only focused on their own survival, people have become ruthless, selfish, and unpredictable. So it's just not the monsters you need to watch out for. It's the desperate humans who can be just as deadly. The movement to the game will be dynamic too. You won't be just walking around slowly. You will be running, dodging, and making quick decisions in a constantly changing environment. And then there's combat. This isn't just a standard point-and-click shooting system. I'm working on a unique combat mechanics that might involve dodges, counters, and melee attacks. It's still coming together, but the idea to make it feel as tense and unpredictable as the world itself. Combat's definitely going to get its own video devlog once I've nailed it down. Once the idea was set, I fired up Unity. First on my list, shaders. I knew that if I wanted to nail the aesthetics I had in mind, I needed to get my shaders on point. This was my first real 3D project, so shaders were a bit of a learning curve. With hours of tutorials and reading docs, finally I got a basic graphic setup that didn't burn my eyeballs. Yay! I quickly realized I needed environments, animations, and characters to really breathe the life into this world. My initial plan was to rely on AI for modeling since I could just shaderize and pixelate anything that looked a bit rough, so quality is not a deal breaker. Well, everything was fine until I hit a wall with my main character. I was like, AI, you got this. But the models were a hot mess. They just didn't have the personality or the detail I wanted. It was then I had to face the challenge. I needed to learn 3D modeling myself. Honestly, the thought of diving into something so foreign was disturbing. I was comfortable in 2D where I could whip up sprites with ease, but this was a whole new ballgame. After a few nights of initial debates, should I stick with what I know or expand my skills, I decided to embrace the challenge. Okay, so 3D modeling, not as hard as I thought. Don't get me wrong, it's a huge world out there, but I just needed some basic locally stylized stuff. After some blended tutorials, I whipped up my first character, Miss Rodion. Everyone, say hi to Rodion. Rodion, say hi to everyone. Yes, I got the name from the Crime and Punishment, I like to keep it classy, but the journey didn't stop here. I needed to get Rodion animated, so I turned to Maximo for rigging and animation. Let me tell you, rigging is like a black hole of frustration, but somehow it worked on my first try, so I didn't have to burn myself alive. Learning 3D was definitely a challenge, but it opened a whole new world of possibilities for MENT. It felt empowering to take control of my creative vision, and I can't wait to see where this journey leads me. Remember that shader I was so hyped about? Yeah, it took forever to get right. I had this vision of a sleek, toon-shaded look with dynamic lighting, like a cinematic masterpiece. But reality check, getting there was a nightmare. I started simple, just trying to nail the basic toon shading. I spent way too long tweaking, learning, thinking some more, and I finally got it. But the real struggle? Lightings. Toon shaders can look very cool until you try adding multi-lighting sources. That's when it all falls apart. Everything was either too shiny or a weird plasticky mess. So I went back to refining. My goal was to keep that gritty pixelated edge while making the lighting soft and natural. I messed up with blending modes, reworked the lighting setup like a bajillion times, and read up every article about shaders, like my life was dependent on it or something. The hardest part was getting the different light levels to play nice together, creating that moody atmosphere without it all looking chaotic. Finally, after weeks of trial and error, I nailed it. Now the lighting actually adds to the atmosphere, blending perfectly with the environment. It feels real, but it still holds on to that toon style. I'm honestly so stoked with how it turned out. Alright, enough yapping. Let's take a look at what's actually done so far. After about a month, or maybe less, of work, here's what I've got. My custom shader and lighting system, pixelated camera, point-and-click gameplay with dialogue and monologue system, inventory and items, and of course, you can walk and run with the mouse clicks. Pretty cool, right? I also set up one NPC and 2 environment scenes to test out how the lighting feels both indoors and outside. I'm especially loving how the outside effects came together, with this crisp, moody lighting and a nice touch of the snow for that extra vibe. And that's a wrap. Thanks for sticking around for this long video. If you vibe a bit, hit the like button, smash subscribe, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I really want to hear what you think. Oh, and if you want more regular updates, check out my Telegram or Twitter, both linked into the description. And until next time, lovely people, take care.